What if everything you've been told about retirement is a lie? What if the golden years you've been working so hard for are nothing more than a delayed promise that most people never get to enjoy? Society teaches us to work tirelessly for decades, sacrificing our best years in the hope of achieving freedom in the future. But what if you could reclaim 25 years of your life, starting now? The truth is, financial independence isn't about reaching a magic number or a specific age. It's about how much control you have over your time. Many people retire only to realize they spent their lives climbing the wrong ladder. They finally have money, but they lack purpose, health, and true freedom. The Bible never teaches us to chase retirement. Instead, it teaches us to build a life of purpose, wealth, and freedom now, not 40 years from now. So if you've ever felt like you're running on a never-ending treadmill, waiting for a future that keeps slipping further away, this is for you. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover biblical principles that can redefine how you see work, money, and time. You don't have to wait until 65 to start living. The question is, are you ready to reclaim your life? Are you building freedom or just accumulating money? Many people spend their entire lives chasing money without realizing they are still financially enslaved. They work long hours, sacrifice relationships, and postpone happiness for the illusion of one day, the day they will finally be free. But biblical wisdom challenges us to see wealth differently. Proverbs 22:7 warns that the borrower is servant to the lender, reminding us that financial freedom is not about how much money we have, but about whether we control our time and decisions. True wealth is measured in freedom, not numbers on a bank statement. A person with $5 million but trapped in an exhausting career has less financial peace than someone with $500,000 but the ability to live life on their terms. Jesus highlighted this contrast when he said, "What good is it for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul?" Mark 8:36. Money without control over your time is just another form of slavery, one disguised as success. Many professionals, entrepreneurs, and even pastors accumulate money but remain in bondage to debt, social pressures, and fear. They buy more things, upgrade their lifestyle, and expand their businesses, only to realize they are still prisoners of their responsibilities. The biblical approach to wealth building is not just about making money, it's about stewarding it in a way that creates margin, choice, and impact. So ask yourself, is your financial plan leading you toward true independence, or are you just stacking wealth without real freedom? The answer determines whether you are truly rich or merely an economic prisoner dressed in luxury. But to break free from this cycle, we must first confront one of the biggest financial illusions ever sold to us: the idea that retirement is the ultimate goal, the danger of living for retirement. Society has sold us a dangerous idea. Work tirelessly for 40 years, sacrifice your best moments, and one day, you'll finally get to enjoy life. But how many people actually reach retirement and feel fulfilled? Many spend decades waiting for the promised freedom, only to find themselves too exhausted, too sick, or too lost to enjoy it. The Bible warns against this illusion in Luke 12:20, where God calls the rich man a fool for storing up wealth for the future while neglecting what truly mattered. The sad reality is that many people spend their healthiest, most productive years grinding in jobs they hate, dreaming of a future that might never come. Some retire only to face unexpected health issues, a lack of purpose, or financial struggles that force them back into the workforce. Ecclesiastes 5:10 reminds us that whoever loves money never has enough, showing that a life centered around financial accumulation without deeper meaning is empty. Retirement should not be seen as the finish line, but as a transition into another phase of purpose. The Bible never speaks of retirement as modern society defines it. Abraham, Moses, Paul, and even Jesus himself worked, served, and fulfilled their missions until their last breath. Purpose is what keeps life meaningful. Instead of aiming for a day when you stop working, why not design a life you never want to escape from? If retirement is your only motivation for working, you are essentially postponing life. But what if you could build a financial plan that allows you to enjoy freedom today, not 40 years from now? That shift in perspective is what transforms wealth into a tool for living, not just for waiting. And this leads us to the next crucial principle: redefining retirement as a life of purpose. Purpose is the new retirement. If work feels like a prison sentence, the real issue isn't how many years you have left until retirement. It's that you're doing something that doesn't align with your purpose. Many people see retirement as an escape, but what if work wasn't something you had to escape from? What if your daily efforts were deeply fulfilling, driven by meaning rather than mere obligation? Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Purpose transforms work from a burden into a mission. In the Bible, we see figures who never retired in the traditional sense. Abraham was still walking in God's promises in his old age. Moses led Israel out of Egypt at 80. Paul wrote letters and mentored leaders from prison. They didn't stop working because their work wasn't about a paycheck. It was about impact. If you live for the weekend or for the day you can stop working, it might be time to rethink your financial goals. Instead of planning to retire, why not plan to transition into work that excites and fulfills you? One of the biggest financial mistakes people make is saving for a future that doesn't align with their values. They build wealth for a retirement that might not bring them joy. Instead, what if they use that wealth to start something meaningful today? Maybe that means launching a business, mentoring others, or investing in causes that create lasting impact. The world doesn't need more retired people. It needs more purpose-driven individuals who see wealth as a tool for fulfilling their calling. If you begin to align your financial goals with your God-given purpose, your perspective on money shifts. It's no longer about making enough to stop working. It becomes about making enough to do what matters most. And when you embrace that mindset, a new question arises. How do we measure wealth correctly? Because true financial success isn't about money. It's about time and choices. The true measure of wealth: time and choices. Most people measure wealth in dollars, but what if the real currency of life is time? You can always make more money, but you can never buy back wasted years. The Bible reminds us in Psalm 90:12, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." Financial success isn't about the size of your bank account. It's about how much control you have over your time and the choices it gives you. A wealthy person isn't just someone with a high income. It's someone who can decide how to spend their days. Many work tirelessly, assuming that a bigger paycheck equals greater security. But security without freedom is just another kind of slavery. The rich young ruler in Mark 10:17-22 had great wealth but was unwilling to exchange it for a greater calling. Jesus offered him purpose, but he was too attached to his possessions. How many today do the same, accumulating wealth while losing autonomy? True wealth is measured by your ability to say no to things that drain your soul and yes to things that align with your values. Imagine two people. One earns $1 million a year but works 80-hour weeks with no time for family, faith, or personal growth. The other makes $100,000 but has flexibility, freedom, and peace of mind. Who is truly wealthier? The biblical principle of stewardship teaches us that wealth should serve our life, not control it. Ecclesiastes 4:6 states, "Better one handful with tranquility than two handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind." Money should be a tool for living well, not a master that dictates every decision. So how do we start measuring wealth differently? Instead of asking, "How much money do I have?" ask, "How much time do I own?" If financial success doesn't give you the freedom to invest in faith, family, and fulfillment, then are you truly successful? This shift in perspective is crucial because it redefines the entire purpose of building wealth. And that brings us to the next question. How do we actually create sustainable financial independence? The secret to building sustainable wealth. Wealth isn't built overnight. It's built through small, consistent actions over time. The Bible teaches us in Proverbs 13:11, "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it." The problem is that most people chase quick success, hoping for a sudden financial breakthrough instead of embracing the steady process of growth. The truth is, the secret to sustainable wealth isn't found in luck or shortcuts. It's found in discipline, patience, and wise decision-making. One of the most powerful principles of wealth building is starting where you are. Many people delay investing or saving because they feel it's too late, or they don't have enough to begin. But Jesus taught in the parable of the talents, Matthew 25:14-30, that even small resources, when managed wisely, can multiply over time. Whether you start with $10 or $10,000, the key is to develop habits of consistency, investing, saving, and avoiding unnecessary debt. Financial success is not about how much you make, but about how you manage what you have. Some people earn high salaries but spend recklessly, while others with modest incomes accumulate wealth through discipline. Joseph in Egypt, Genesis 41, prepared for famine by saving during years of abundance. His story is a biblical masterclass in financial planning. Anticipate future needs, store wisely, and let time work in your favor. So instead of chasing fast money or waiting for the perfect opportunity, start today. Set up an emergency fund, invest in income-generating assets, and focus on long-term stability rather than short-term gain. Wealth is a journey, not a jackpot. And as you build it, there's another key question to ask. Are you managing your money in a way that aligns with your deepest values? Is your money aligned with your values? Every financial decision you make is a reflection of what you truly value. Jesus said in Matthew 6:21, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Yet many people unknowingly spend money on things that don't align with their faith, priorities, or long-term vision. They get caught up in consumerism, influenced by advertising, trends, and social pressure rather than making intentional choices that reflect their core beliefs. Marketing constantly tells us what we should own: the latest gadgets, luxury cars, designer brands. But at what cost? Many finance their lifestyles with debt, trading financial peace for momentary status. Proverbs 22:26 warns, "Do not be one who shakes hands in pledge or puts up security for debts." Instead of letting society dictate spending habits, we must ask, does this purchase move me closer to financial freedom and a God-centered life, or is it just satisfying a temporary desire? A practical way to align money with values is to create a purpose-driven spending plan. Instead of a traditional budget that feels restrictive, view your spending as a way to fund your mission. Are you investing in experiences that enrich your relationships? Are you giving generously as God commands? Are you building financial security that allows you to serve others? When money is spent intentionally, it creates fulfillment rather than regret. If your financial habits don't reflect what matters most to you, it's time to realign them. True wealth isn't about impressing others. It's about stewarding what God has entrusted to you. When you shift your spending and investing to match your values, money stops being a source of stress and starts becoming a tool for purpose. And once you do that, the next step is making sure your investments are fueling your freedom, not just adding more possessions to your life. Invest in your freedom, not in things. Most people believe that financial success is about having more money, more possessions, more status symbols. But true financial wisdom is about owning less and controlling more. Proverbs 21:20 says, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down." The wealthy are not those who constantly spend, but those who invest in things that create long-term freedom. Financial security is not about accumulating things. It's about building assets that work for you. The problem is that many people confuse lifestyle upgrades with financial progress. A new car, designer clothes, or a bigger house might feel like success, but if they come at the cost of financial independence, they are just golden handcuffs. Jesus warned about this in Luke 12:15. Watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. True wealth is measured in freedom, not things. Investing in freedom means prioritizing assets that generate income and flexibility. This could be real estate that provides passive income, investments that grow over time, or even skills that increase earning potential. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" start asking, "Will this purchase bring me closer to or further from financial independence?" The best investments give you choices. They don't trap you in an endless cycle of needing to earn more to sustain an inflated lifestyle. If your money is working for you, your time belongs to you. That's the ultimate goal. Financial independence allows you to spend time with family, serve in ministry, pursue meaningful work, and live without stress. So before making your next financial move, ask yourself, are you building a life of freedom or just a life filled with expensive distractions? And when you understand this, it leads to a bigger question. How does faith play into wealth building? Faith as the foundation of true wealth. The world teaches us that wealth comes from strategy, hard work, and market knowledge. While these are important, the Bible shows us that true financial security begins with faith. Deuteronomy 8:18 reminds us, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." Without God's wisdom, even the wealthiest person can lose everything. But with faith, even those with little can build something lasting. Fear is one of the greatest enemies of financial growth. People hesitate to invest, to start businesses, or to give generously because they fear loss. But biblical wealth building is rooted in trust, not fear. In Matthew 6:31-33, Jesus tells us not to worry about what we will eat or wear, but to seek first the kingdom of God. Financial peace comes not from hoarding money, but from trusting that God will provide as we steward our resources wisely. Another key element of biblical wealth is generosity. The world tells us to accumulate, but the Bible teaches that giving is the secret to true abundance. Proverbs 11:25 says, A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Many successful Christian entrepreneurs and investors will tell you that their biggest financial breakthroughs came when they prioritized generosity. Giving breaks the grip of greed and invites God's favor into our finances. If wealth is built on faith, then financial planning should start with prayer. Before making investments, spending large sums, or setting financial goals, seek God's guidance. Align your financial decisions with biblical principles, and you will experience peace, even in uncertain markets. And as you build wealth with faith, you'll realize that money alone isn't enough. What really matters is the legacy you leave behind. Leaving a legacy beyond money. Many people believe that legacy is about how much wealth they leave behind. But true legacy is not measured in bank accounts. It's measured in the impact you have on others. Proverbs 13:22 says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children." However, this inheritance is not just financial. It's spiritual, intellectual, and relational. The richest legacy is one that outlives you, shaping generations long after you're gone. Some of the wealthiest people in the world have left behind fortunes, but their names and influence quickly faded. Meanwhile, biblical figures like Abraham, David, and Paul left legacies that changed history, not just because of their material wealth, but because of the wisdom, faith, and purpose they passed down. Money without meaning is empty, but a life well lived creates ripples that last forever. One of the most valuable ways to leave a legacy is through mentorship and teaching. Your financial knowledge, faith, and principles should not die with you. Train your children and those around you in stewardship, business, and faith. Teach them that money is a tool, not a god. Help them understand that wealth is not about possessions, but about freedom and impact. Your words and example will shape their financial futures more than any inheritance ever could. In the end, the real question is not, how much will I leave behind? But what kind of life am I living now? A legacy is built day by day in the way you treat people, manage resources, and fulfill your purpose. Wealth that is disconnected from purpose fades, but a life of faith, wisdom, and impact is remembered for generations. So what kind of legacy are you building? Now that you know the truth about retirement, the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue following the path society has set for you, or will you start taking control of your time, money, and purpose today? The Bible teaches that wisdom is not just about knowing what to do, it's about applying that knowledge. James 1:22 reminds us, "Do not merely listen to the word, and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says." Imagine looking back 10 years from now. Will you still be trapped in the same cycle, working endlessly and hoping that freedom will come one day? Or will you have built a life of choices where your money serves your purpose instead of the other way around? Every financial decision you make today is either bringing you closer to freedom or keeping you in financial bondage. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to take the next step. So tell me, what is one change you can make this week to align your finances with your faith and your freedom? Maybe it's cutting an unnecessary expense, investing in something that generates passive income, or simply redefining your vision for the future. Whatever it is, don't just think about it, act on it. The road to financial freedom isn't built overnight, but it starts with a single step. Write in the comments, "My retirement is in God's hands," and watch how this powerful declaration will change the course of your finances and business. If this message resonated with you, let's continue this journey together. Consider supporting our ministry through the link in the description. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and join a community of people taking control of their time, money, and purpose.